What up, ya bing bongs? Kirk Wilcox here. Today, I take on Dennis Prager!
Do you believe that good and evil exist? The answer to this question separates Judeo-Christian values from secular values.
Well, first of all, there's no such thing as secular values because secularism is not an organized religion. The same cannot be said about the variety of Christian and Jewish denominations, which all derive from the same source material.
Let me offer the clearest possible example. Murder. Is murder wrong? Is it evil? Nearly everyone would answer yes, but now I will pose a much harder question. How do you know? I'm sure you think murder is wrong, but how do you know?
Because I recognize that man is the rational animal, and therefore humans play by a different set of rules than other creatures in the wild. Humans can be reasoned with. Animals cannot, and therefore cannot be trusted. I also recognize that I only get one life in this universe, just one, and therefore, just like with every other living creature, it is my moral duty to provide for myself, to protect myself, to be happy, and to live a good life. And because I recognize that human beings are capable of reason, I recognize their right to live so long as they live peacefully. Now, if someone tries to come into my house and murder me, I have every right to use whatever means of force necessary to protect myself because it is my duty in life to, well, live! Even if someone is out murdering other innocent people, not targeting me, it would be in my best interest to have that murderer apprehended because they take no issue with killing me or anyone I love in the near future. As an atheist, I see that I only get one life in this universe, just one, and I recognize that everyone else has a finite amount of time in their own lives. Therefore, ending the life of another human being is the ultimate crime.
If I asked you how you know that the Earth is round, you would show me photographs from outer space or offer me measurable data.
Well, apparently these days, things like science, evidence, and satellite photos just aren't good enough for some people.
But what photographs could you show? What measurements could you provide that prove that murder or rape or theft is wrong? The fact is, you can't. There are scientific facts, but without God, there are no moral facts. In a secular world, there can only be opinions about morality. They may be personal opinions or society's opinions.
Society's opinions? There's no such thing as society's opinions because there's not one societal mind. Society is just a collection of individuals, each of whom have their own mind and their own way of thinking.
Every atheist philosopher I have read or debated on this subject has acknowledged that if there is no God, there is no objective morality.
What?
Judeo-Christian values are predicated on the existence of a God of morality. In other words, only if there is a God who says murder is wrong, is murder wrong?
Yeah, but if people don't believe in God and think that the concept of a deity is just a man-made creation, then where would those morals come from? Oh yeah, that's right. Right here. Right here, the human mind, baby.
Otherwise, all morality is opinion.
Yes, but all religion is a matter of opinion as well. The problem Dennis makes with this video is that he assumes that the Judeo-Christian God and religion are all fact. The reason why atheists and seculars reject or are skeptical of the concept of a deity and religion is because none of it is provable by science, evidence, or fact. Therefore, all these so-called prophets like Jesus, Moses, Abraham, and the rest, they're all just regular human beings with their own opinion. It's your divine revelation versus my divine revelation. Therefore, all religion is just a matter of opinion.
The entire Western world, what we call Western civilization, is based on this understanding. Now, let me make two things clear. First, this doesn't mean that if you don't believe in God, you can't be a good person. There are plenty of kind and moral individuals who don't believe in God and Judeo-Christian values. But the existence of these good people has nothing nothing to do with the question of whether good and evil really exist if there is no God. Second, there have been plenty of people who believed in God who were not good people. Indeed, more than a few have been evil and have even committed evil in God's name. The existence of God doesn't ensure people will do good. I wish it did. The existence of God only ensures that good and evil objectively exist and are not merely opinions. Without God, we therefore end up with what is known as moral relativism, meaning that morality is not absolute, but only relative to the individual or to the society.
All right, Dennis is actually right here. Moral relativism is a serious problem. This idea that everyone's opinion should be respected, that what's true for you may not be true for me, that nobody knows what's real, nobody knows what's good, nobody knows what's evil. It's just all a matter of opinion. Oh, shit, what's that? It's the Godwin's LOL alert. Let's take Adolf Hitler, for example. Some people may argue that Adolf Hitler was not evil. Oof. Not the best work from Thought Catalog. Remember this screenshot next time you read dating advice from this website. Although, to be fair, Thought Catalog really is not much worse than published magazines like, say, Teen Vogue. Yeah, this is a tweet from someone who writes for Teen Vogue. Welcome to 2017, everybody. Anyway, Anonymous from Thought Catalog proudly, confidently, and bravely writes, Hitler believed that the Jews were harming Germany. Hitler believed that the Treaty of Versailles was unjust. Hitler believed that Austria and the Third Reich should become united. It goes on to say, of course, I am not saying that what Hitler did was right. Of course not. I am saying that Hitler was not evil, but simply a man who did what he believed was right for the German people at the time. Yeah, Hitler believed in helping people, all right. White, Aryan German people. Everyone else, fuck them.
I love you because you kill people.
Now, many will argue that you don't need moral absolutes. People won't murder because they don't want to be murdered. But that argument is just wishful thinking. Hitler, Stalin, and Mao didn't want to be murdered, but that hardly stopped them from murdering about 100 million people. It is not a coincidence that the rejection of Judeo-Christian values in the Western world by Nazism and communism led to the murder of all these innocent people.
I beg to differ here. It was not the rejection of Judeo-Christian values, but rather the rejection of individualism and individual rights. The problem with guys like Hitler and Stalin is that they don't believe in the individual. They only believed in the collective. Hitler believed in the ethnic collective. Stalin believed in the societal collective. Both believed that society was more important than the individual, and that your moral duty in life was not to serve yourself or your own happiness, but rather your moral duty in life was to serve society and make society better. The problem with this mindset is that anyone that operates from this premise will take no issue in sacrificing individual rights and individual lives so long as it benefits the rest of society. Therefore, in the eyes of people like Hitler, Stalin, and Mao, murder is totally acceptable so long as it benefits society.
It is also not a coincidence that the first societies in the world to abolish slavery, an institution that existed in every known society in human history, were Western societies rooted in Judeo-Christian values. And so were the first societies to affirm universal human rights, to emancipate women, and to proclaim the value of liberty.
All right, so Dennis is sort of implying here that America was founded on Judeo-Christian values, and I beg to differ. The United States of America was founded on the idea of individual rights. And another problem that Dennis makes here is that he ignores the fact that religion is another form of collectivism. And once you set that standard that this country was founded on Judeo-Christian values, once you set that standard, now religious politicians could use religion to impose religious laws on the rest of society, whether it be blasphemy laws, censorship, vice laws like the prohibition of alcohol, prayer in schools, the suppression of science, etc., etc. And because it's all based on divine revelation, anyone in the future can claim that the Judeo-Christian God spoke to them and that the Judeo-Christian God declared new rules and imposed those rules on adherents and the rest of society, because society was built on Judeo-Christian values.
Today, the rejection of Judeo-Christian values and moral absolutes has led to a world of moral confusion. In the New York Times in March 2015, a professor of philosophy confirmed this. He wrote, "What would you say if you found out that our public schools were teaching children that it is not true that it's wrong to kill people for fun? Would you be surprised? I was." The professor then added, "The overwhelming majority of college freshmen view moral claims as mere opinions."
Okay, so Dennis is actually right here. Back to the point on moral relativism, a morally confused culture is vulnerable to anarchy and tyranny. If someone is not confident in their morals and their virtues, then they're not going to be able to challenge an authority figure who seeks to impose their values and their morals on the rest of society, just as Leonard Peikoff states in this radio interview.
Take the typical college undergraduate, comes out. He's had 4 years in which he's been battered with the idea there are no absolutes, nothing is certain but death and taxes. What's true for you isn't true for me. Who can know anything? He has lost confidence in his own mind and judgment. He doesn't know where he's going. He doesn't believe he can figure out any answers. And so a lot of them give up ideas. A lot of them become authoritarian and just obey society. Another ominous parallel.
Okay. The other parallel you were talking about.
The other central idea is the concept of self-sacrifice. The idea that the justification of your life is service to others. That you are nothing, you're just a pawn of the community and you should live to serve it. If so, you're ripe for the dictator to come and say, I'm the voice of society and here's what you have to do. That's what they did to the Germans, and that is what the colleges are pumping into these kids.
You're goddamn right.
So then, whatever you believe about God or religion, here is a fact. Without a God who is the source of morality, morality is just a matter of opinion. So, if you want a good world, the death of Judeo-Christian values should frighten you. I'm Dennis Prager.
All right, so overall, this video really is not bad. The problem with this video is that the premise is false from the beginning because Dennis Prager assumes that the Judeo-Christian God is real, and that's where all morality comes from. Seculars and atheists are skeptical or flat out reject the concept of a deity, and likewise would conclude that morality comes from the human mind. Nevertheless, Dennis is absolutely right that people need ethics and that a morally confused culture is vulnerable to tyranny and anarchy, hence why individualism, reason, and rational self-interest, not mysticism and divine revelation, should be the standard for morality. I'm Kirk Wilcox.